They started taking my clothes off, and then this led to them doing stuff I didn't consent to.
4 women have told us that they were sexually assaulted and harassed as teenagers at a British Army training college.
It ruined my life.
I've lost all my confidence.
It needs to be closed down, and I don't get why it hasn't. It just doesn't make sense.
The Army Foundation College in Harrogate, North Yorkshire, is for teenagers who want a life in the armed forces. Here they're taught fitness and basic military skills. It's the largest military training establishment for under 18s in the UK and receives all of the Army's 16-year-old recruits. Fewer than 10% of its current recruits are female, but now it's at the centre of serious allegations from several women who went to the college over the last 5 years.
They were like, "Do you want to come into the room?" And me, being a naive 17-year-old girl, was like, "Yeah, fine."
Tilly, which is not her real name, says she was raped by fellow recruits.
They started taking my clothes off, and then this led to them doing stuff I didn't consent to. There were a lot of them. They touched me in places, made inappropriate comments, calling me a thing rather than a girl, and then I was raped by multiple junior soldiers the same age as me. It went on for hours. I felt like a piece of meat.
Like some of the women we spoke to, Tilly reported it to the police. But we're not providing the full details of all the police investigations to protect their identity.
After it happened, I heard an instructor going round saying, "Have you heard about that slag who shagged all those blokes?" It teaches boys this attitude that we're only good for one thing.
All of the women we've spoken to went to this college over the last 5 years. Data obtained by the BBC through a Freedom of Information request shows that North Yorkshire Police recorded 16 sexual offence crimes over the last year at this college, including voyeurism and exposure and sexual assault. These are recorded complaints, and it's not clear how many led to prosecutions.
There's a problem there. There's been ongoing complaints for a long time now around sexual assault, bullying, sexual abuse, physical abuse. And, you know, if this was anywhere else, it would have been closed down by now, or someone would have been in there looking in depth at what is going on. I think as a matter of urgency, there should be an independent inquiry into the college led by someone with significant safeguarding expertise, and they need to be able to speak to the children there.
Monica, also not her real name, says she too was attacked by a junior soldier.
He trapped me in the room. He stood against the door so I couldn't get out. He then pushed himself up against me and started kissing my face and touching me all over. He sexually assaulted me. I managed to push him off. I'm not sure how, because he's really strong. I think there's a worrying amount of girls that haven't spoken up about assaults, and I think it's like an underground world that nobody talks about or sees, apart from those in it.
This woman is the mother of a former soldier. She says her daughter was sexually assaulted at the college and had to sleep across the door to her room because the lock was broken. The MOD says all rooms have locks.
She was literally recruited from school, sold a dream, and then had to navigate almost daily sexual harassment. She found herself sleeping across the door to stop male soldiers coming in. She'd be standing in line in the corridor and she'd be picked out as a massive slag or slapper because they'd say it was her fault people were looking at her. She was told every year that there's one that they want, and it looks like this year you're the one that they want. And it just broke my heart, because what you forget about is that she's just a child.
The UK government defines a child as anyone under 18. A recent Ministry of Defence survey suggests almost 70% of women in the armed forces experienced at least one sexualised behaviour in the last year. In 2021, 19-year-old gunner Jaisley Beck took her own life at her barracks in Wiltshire, months after she was sexually assaulted by Warrant Officer Michael Webber. Last year, a coroner ruled the assault and the Army's failure to take appropriate action more than minimally contributed to her death. Webber was jailed for 6 months. The Centre for Military Justice provides legal support to former armed forces personnel. It says the government's not doing enough to eradicate criminal behaviour.
We know from the women that contact us for advice, the women and the girls that contact us for advice, that the kinds of experiences that we're talking about today are reasonably widespread. Women are in a very, very stark minority in the armed forces. They make up about 12% of the total armed forces population. This is a very masculine environment. And these women are tough women. We are talking about really serious issues of sustained sexual harassment, bullying, and in some cases, extremely serious sexual violence. All of the women that contact us for advice are doing so because they are very, very unhappy at the culture that gave rise to these behaviours in the first place and the failure of the systems around them that are supposed to address them inside the armed forces to help them address that.
What happened to me, I believe, has happened before and will happen there again if something isn't done to change the culture.
I think there's a worrying amount of girls that haven't spoken up about assaults, and they portray it as the best thing you can do, and then you go there and it's just like they are completely taking advantage of these young people. And I think it should be closed down completely.
In response to the allegations made in this report, the Ministry of Defence says, "Unacceptable and criminal behaviour has absolutely no place in our armed forces, and these reports are extremely distressing and serious." It says it's created the Defence Serious Crime Command, which is independent and outside of the Army chain of command and has a specialist team who help victims throughout the process of justice. The Army is a tough training environment with high standards, but now the supervision and discipline of junior recruits and their instructors is in sharp focus after so many serious allegations.